Hi, my name's Cordy, and I bet you've often wondered, why do people on YouTube wear hats? And part of the answer, they might have given in the past is that, oh, I wake up with dodgy hair, and so I put on a hat and it's easier to create content that way because I don't have to worry about my hair looking stupid. And that sounds plausible, and Occam's razor and all that, but if that was the case, why wouldn't you just shave your head? And I think what that shows is that actually there's a cabal of right-leaning YouTubers, and so what I want you to do this week is anytime you see a YouTuber wearing a hat, just write in there, say, "We know how you voted, mate," and leave that in the comments, I guess. Alright, now my name is Bob, and I grew up on a pig farm. Part of this is actually true. My dad did have pigs. He told us they were clean. They're not clean animals at all. They just live in their own filth. Anyway, yeah, I'm sort of just a working man, and hang out with the pigs. And when I was young, I got picked on. I guess you could call me Willie for short. How's that short for Bob? It's a good question, but yeah, Willie Picton. That's the. Don't look in the pig pen. This is a video about reverb. Hi, my name is Cordy, and I'm just making this video quickly to talk about some of the reverbs in the Helix from my perspective. So I get asked anytime that I do something with like the Strymon big scale or Strymon timeline, is the reason that you're doing this because you can't get what you want out of the Helix, or that sort of thing, or how do you think they compare? So this isn't really about a comparison or anything. I just wanted to talk about my view on this, where my favourite kind of stuff is on the Helix, and if you're going for this ambient sort of stuff like I am, where I would start off. So this is just a preset to show you kind of what is capable in the Helix world. This is a combination of delays, reverbs and stuff, and that's the real beauty of the Helix, is that you can combine different stuff. So any of the stuff in the timeline or the big sky is not actually just one reverb. In the case of a lot of the stuff that I like, it's actually a combination of things. So it's maybe two reverb lines, or a reverb going into a diffusion reverb kind of thing. So like the Glitz, or as it's actually called on the big sky, the bloom or the cloud, they're kind of combinations of reverbs. So that's something worth kind of knowing. I think that's the case anyway. So let's start with an empty preset, and I'm just going to set up quickly a Princeton. Why not? Actually, let's go with Grammatico because I've never used it really. So we've just got an empty preset there, and that's a D major chord, sort of. One of the kind of go-tos for me, I tend to always use the reverbs in stereo. The Glitz is really nice. I turn the pre-delay down, and I think I turn the decay down, and generally the mix I like to have it around 19, and this I think is one of the really nice kind of reverbs. You could up that decay if you want more of an ambient thing, I guess. So that's one of my go-to reverbs, and I think hopefully if you're into similar tones to me, even this super simple preset to me is sounding pretty good, to be fair. So the Glitz reverb is one that I would start off with. Now the pre-delay obviously kind of increases that bloom effect, so let's go nuts with it. And so that kind of delays the bloom side of things, I think. So that's one really nice one. Another really nice one, I think, is the Searchlights. So this is also based on, I think, the cloud setting on the big sky. And for me, this is a really cool one. But what I like to do with this is put it on a parallel path and then so if you kind of do a split A-B here, in the dry signal there, and I find that that's a nice and that one's got a super long tail by default, and I think that works really nicely if you're looking for that really ambient. So that one definitely I really love, and to me that one kind of sounds similar to some supermassive, you know, the Valhalla supermassive algorithms. So that's a nice one to use, but also don't forget you can do this kind of thing where you can mix in other things. So in particular the old kind of legacy reverbs, by the way, were designed by the guy who started MERIS pedals, as far as I know. So the particle verb is a really nice one. So you can stack these as well in really effective ways. And of course that's quite wet, so what I might do is also just blend this a little better, and I might have a Glitz reverb here as well, and then so although the legacy reverbs don't get potentially loads of love, I think they're worth checking out. So in particular, ducking is of interest to me because Josh from JHS Pedals just picked this as one of his favourite pedals. The Line 6 Verbzilla had this algorithm on it, and you can hear that as you're playing it kind of ducks. So that could be a really useful one if you're wanting to maintain some clarity whilst you're playing. So that one's definitely worth checking out. Then the 63 spring, I'm presuming you're going to know about because those are the only real spring reverbs on the pedal. But the octo as well is kind of like a shimmer. And That's definitely got a sound to it. You maybe want to close down the high cut a bit and it's not necessarily my favourite by itself, but in combination with maybe the Searchlights it might do a thing. So that to me is like an almost poly reverb shimmer, which is useful for sure. But yeah, those are some of the things that I like, and the Hall presumably is going to sound like a big Hall. So again, that Hall reverb made by the guy from MERIS, so in terms of whether that's a quality reverb or not, that's the guy who programmed it, and people seem to love MERIS pedals, so I guess you could probably assume that that's going to be a decent reverb. But those are the things I like. So Searchlights, Glitz, and then in the Legacy, the particle verb, the ducking is of particular interest now, Octo and Hall, but I think you'll probably find that most of these are pretty usable, and don't be afraid to kind of experiment with the settings and find I think turning up the decay can get you closer to that kind of ambient stuff that maybe you're going for. And as I say, using things in combination is always a really I think the really powerful aspect of the Helix is the ability to mix in other things. So like a harmonic tremolo, for instance, you could put on your parallel. And the ability to mix things around in the signal chain. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the Helix reverbs. Those are the ones that I like, and definitely I really like those reverbs. The fact that I've got Strymon Timeline and Big Sky isn't because I don't find that these are useful. It's just about doing experiments with other gear and kind of seeing what else is out there. It's not because this stuff is rubbish or anything. I do actually find a lot of use in particularly those reverbs that I've just showed you. So hopefully that's vaguely clarifying on that. If you want any of my presets for the Helix, you can grab them in the description. In particular, this Future Helix preset. I think is really kind of useful for showing what the Helix can do, you know, when you're using a few delays and a reverb. So hopefully that's useful. Thank you for stopping by. If you wanted to like and subscribe, you could. I'll catch you for another video soon. Cheers.